The 1970s gave us some of the most beautiful love songs ever recorded. These weren't just catchy tunes. They were songs that couples slow dance to at weddings, that played during first kisses, and that still make people think of someone special decades later. These are the 10 best love songs of the 1970s. Number 10, Let's Stay Together by Al Green. Al Green recorded this song in 1971 at Royal Studios in Memphis, and it became the defining love song of his career. Willie Mitchell, his producer, had been working on the music when Al walked in and started humming along. The melody came together naturally, and Green added words about commitment and devotion that felt completely genuine.
You make me feel so right.
The song hit number 1 on both the pop and R&B charts in early 1972. What made it special was Green's voice, that smooth falsetto that could convey both strength and vulnerability in the same breath. He wasn't begging or pleading. He was simply stating a truth. Whether times are good or bad, I'm staying.
Let's stay together.
Green had grown up singing gospel in Arkansas, and that spiritual foundation showed in how he approached love songs. There was a reverence in his delivery, like he understood that real love was something sacred. The horns, the strings, the steady groove, everything supported his vocal, without ever overshadowing it. The song became a wedding staple almost immediately. Couples chose it for their first dance. Radio stations played it during dedications. It showed up in films and television shows whenever directors needed to capture romance. Even now, more than 50 years later, those opening notes are instantly recognizable. Green performed it thousands of times over the decades, but he never seemed tired of it. In interviews, he'd talk about how the song connected with people, how they'd tell him it was playing when they met their spouse, or that it helped them through a rough patch. The song had become bigger than him, and he seemed grateful for that. Number 9, You Are the Sunshine of My Life by Stevie Wonder.
Sunshine of my life.
Stevie Wonder wrote this song in 1973, during one of the most creative periods of his career. He'd just released Talking Book and was working on ideas for his next album. The song came to him fully formed, a simple declaration of how someone can transform your entire world just by being in it.
And if I thought our love was
Wonder did something unusual with the recording. He didn't sing the first 2 verses himself. He gave them to Jim Gilstrap and Lenny Groves, session singers who'd worked with him before. Only when the chorus arrived did Wonder's voice come in, and the effect was like the sun actually breaking through clouds. His harmonica solo added warmth without being showy.
sunshine of my life. All right.
The song won the Grammy for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance and became Wonder's 3rd #1 hit. What made it endure was its uncomplicated joy. There was no drama, no conflict, just pure happiness about being in love. In an era when many songs explored the complications of relationships, Wonder celebrated the simple pleasure of waking up grateful for someone.
You are the apple of my eye.
Radio embraced it immediately. The melody was easy to remember, the sentiment universal. Parents approved of their teenagers listening to it. It became one of those rare songs that crossed generational lines without trying to. Everyone could relate to feeling like someone brought light into their life.
You must have known that I was so damn lonely.
Wonder continued performing it throughout his career, often dedicating it to his mother. The song proved that love songs didn't need to be complicated to be profound. Sometimes the simplest statement carries the most truth.
You are the sunshine of my life.
Number 8, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face by Roberta Flack.
First time ever
Roberta Flack first recorded this song in 1969 for her debut album, but it didn't become a hit until 3 years later. Clint Eastwood heard it and used it in his directorial debut, the film Play Misty for Me. Suddenly, a song that had barely registered became unavoidable.
And the moon and the stars.
Ewan MacColl had written the song in 1957 for Peggy Seeger, the woman who would become his wife. Various artists had recorded it over the years, but Flack's version was different. She slowed it down dramatically, stretching the song to over 5 minutes. Where other versions rushed through the verses, Flack lingered on every word, letting the emotion build gradually.
Felt the earth move.
The arrangement was spare. Just Flack's voice, some gentle guitar, subtle strings. Nothing competed for attention. When she sang about the earth moving in her hand, or the sun rising in the sky, you believed she'd experienced something transcendent. Her delivery made it feel like a prayer.
Ever I lay.
The song spent 6 weeks at number 1 in 1972 and won the Grammy for Record of the Year. It became the song couples requested at weddings when they wanted something that felt sacred and timeless. Flack's version turned a folk song into a standard, proving that the right interpretation could transform familiar material into something entirely new.
And the moon and the stars.
Flack later said she never imagined the song would become so big. She just tried to sing it honestly, the way it made her feel. That honesty connected with millions of listeners who heard their own experiences of transformative love reflected in her voice.
I knew our joy.
Number 7, Just the Way You Are, by Billy Joel.
I want you just the way you are.
Billy Joel wrote this song in 1977 for his wife Elizabeth. They'd been arguing about the way relationships change people, how partners sometimes try to mold each other into someone different. Joel wanted to write something that said the opposite. I love you exactly as you are, flaws and all.
I love you just the way you are.
The recording featured a beautiful soprano saxophone solo by Phil Woods that became as memorable as the melody itself. Joel's voice was earnest, without being saccharine. He sang directly, like he was having a conversation rather than performing. The production had a sophistication that matched the maturity of the sentiment.
Same old someone that I knew.
The song won Grammy Awards for Record of the Year and Song of the Year in 1979. It became Joel's first top 10 hit and established him as someone who could write love songs that didn't feel generic or calculated. This wasn't puppy love or infatuation. This was the kind of love that survives real life.
I want you just the way you are.
What resonated with people was the honesty. Joel acknowledged that his partner might want to change, might feel pressure to be different, but he was saying that wasn't necessary. The acceptance in the song felt rare and genuine. In a culture that constantly tells people to improve themselves, Joel was singing about loving someone without conditions.
I love you just the way you are.
The song became a wedding standard immediately. Countless couples chose it for their first dance or had it performed during ceremonies. Joel initially wasn't sure about the song, thought it might be too sentimental. His instincts were wrong. It became one of his most beloved compositions.
I want you just the way you are.
Number 6, 3 Times a Lady, by Commodores.
3 times a lady.
Lionel Richie wrote this song in 1978 after attending his parents' anniversary party. Watching them together after so many years, seeing how his father looked at his mother, moved him deeply. He went home and wrote the song in one sitting, trying to capture what he'd witnessed.
And I love you.
The Commodores were known for funk and R&B dance tracks. This ballad was a departure, slower and more intimate than anything they'd done before. The other band members weren't sure about it at first, but when they recorded it, they realized Richie had written something special.
Three times a lady.
The arrangement was lush without being overdone. Strings supported Ritchie's vocal, creating a romantic atmosphere that felt timeless. His voice carried genuine emotion, like he was sharing something personal rather than just singing a song. When he sang about someone being once, twice, 3 times a lady, it felt specific and true.
You made my life worth living.
The song hit #1 and stayed there for 2 weeks in the summer of 1978. It became the Commodore's biggest hit and transformed their career. Suddenly, they weren't just a funk band, they were artists who could make you feel something deep.
3 times a lady.
The song became a favorite at anniversary celebrations and romantic occasions. Something about Ritchie's sincerity connected with people who'd been in love long enough to know it wasn't always easy, but that made it more valuable. This wasn't about the excitement of new love. This was about the depth of lasting love. Number 5. How Deep Is Your Love? By Bee Gees.
Your eyes in the morning sun.
The Bee Gees wrote this song in 1977 while working on the soundtrack for Saturday Night Fever. While most of that soundtrack became synonymous with disco dancing, this ballad revealed the brothers' gift for melody and harmony that had nothing to do with dance floors.
How deep is your love? Is your love how deep?
Barry Gibb's falsetto had become their signature sound, and he used it beautifully here. The 3 brothers' voices blended in harmonies that felt effortless, like they were thinking the same thoughts simultaneously. The production was clean and sophisticated, letting the vocal arrangement shine.
Living in a world of fools.
The song reached #1 and became one of the Bee Gees' most enduring hits. It earned them a Grammy nomination and proved they could write love songs that worked outside the disco context. The Saturday Night Fever connection helped expose it to massive audiences, but the song succeeded on its own merits.
You're the light in my deepest dark.
What made it work was the vulnerability in the question itself. The singer wasn't declaring love or demanding commitment. They were asking, wondering, hoping the other person felt the same depth of feeling. That uncertainty made it relatable. Most people have wondered at some point whether their love was matched by the person they loved.
How deep is your love? Is your love how deep?
The song became a staple of adult contemporary radio and remained popular long after the disco era ended. The Bee Gees continued performing it throughout their career, and it consistently got strong reactions from audiences. It reminded people that underneath the platform shoes and disco balls, the brothers from Australia could write a classic love song as well as anyone.
'Cause we're living in a world of fools.
Number 4. Love Will Keep Us Together by Captain and Tennant.
Look in my heart and let love keep us together.
Daryl Dragon, known as the Captain because of the nautical cap he always wore, created the arrangement. His wife, Toni Tennille, sang lead, with an energy and joy that made the song irresistible.
Stop, 'cause I really love you. Stop.
The production was bright and optimistic, with a bouncy piano line, and Tenilla's powerful vocals driving everything forward. She sang like she genuinely believed love could overcome any obstacle, and her conviction was infectious. The Captain's spoken interjection of "Sadaka is back" was a playful touch that became part of the song's charm.
Young and beautiful, but someday
The song hit #1 and stayed there for 4 weeks in the summer of 1975. It won the Grammy for Record of the Year and launched Captain and Tennille into stardom. They got their own television variety show and became one of the most successful duos of the decade.
love will keep us together. I said
The song's message was simple but powerful. No matter what challenges come, love provides the strength to face them together. In the mid-1970s, with economic troubles and political cynicism widespread, that optimism felt refreshing. People wanted to believe that something as fundamental as love could be reliable and strong.
I will.
The song became a favorite at weddings and anniversary parties. Its upbeat tempo made it good for dancing, but the sentiment made it meaningful. Captain and Tennille embodied the kind of partnership the song celebrated, and audiences responded to that authenticity. Number 3. My Eyes Adored You by Frankie Valli. Frankie Valli recorded this song in 1974, initially as a potential single for the Four Seasons. When their label passed on it, Valli released it as a solo single instead. It became his first #1 hit without the Four Seasons and proved he could succeed on his own. Bob Crewe and Kenny Nolan wrote the song about young love, the kind that feels all-consuming even when you're too young to do anything about it. Valli's distinctive voice, that soaring tenor that could hit notes most male singers couldn't reach, delivered the nostalgic lyrics with genuine feeling. He sang about carrying books and dreaming from afar, painting a picture of innocent adolescent devotion. The production was lush and dramatic, with strings that swooped and soared alongside Valli's vocal. The arrangement built to emotional peaks that matched the intensity of First Love Remembered. It was unabashedly romantic, refusing to be cool or detached. The song reached #1 in March 1975 and introduced Valli to a new generation of listeners. Many people who'd loved the Four Seasons in the early 1960s had moved on to other music. This brought them back while also appealing to younger listeners who responded to the timeless story. What made the song endure was its specificity. Valli wasn't singing about love in general. He was remembering a particular person, a particular time, particular feelings. That detail made it feel real. Listeners could substitute their own memories, their own first crushes, into the framework he provided. Number 2. You're the First, the Last, My Everything by Barry White. Barry White recorded this song in 1974. During the peak of his career as the master of romantic soul. His deep voice, orchestral arrangements, and unabashed romanticism had made him one of the most distinctive artists of the decade. This song became his signature. White had started his career as a behind-the-scenes producer and arranger, working with acts like Love Unlimited. But when he stepped in front of the microphone himself, something magical happened. That bass baritone voice, one of the deepest in popular music, became instantly recognizable. He could make even simple declarations of love sound profound. The song had an interesting origin. White based it on an earlier country song and rewrote it completely with Tony Seppi and Peter Radcliffe, transforming it into a declaration of total devotion. He took what had been a simple tune and turned it into something grand and sweeping. His voice rumbled through the verses with absolute confidence. When he sang about someone being his everything, you believed him without question. The recording showcased everything White did best. He worked with the Love Unlimited Orchestra, a 40-piece ensemble that gave him the lush sound he wanted. The arrangement was huge, with strings that soared and a rhythm section that drove the song forward. White's spoken word interludes, a technique he'd perfected, added an intimate touch to the orchestral grandeur. But despite all that production, White's presence was so commanding that he never got lost in it. His voice cut through everything, commanding attention. The song reached #2 on the pop charts and #1 on the R&B charts. It became the song people associated with White, the one that radio stations played most often. The combination of his voice, the lush production, and the straightforward romantic message created something that felt both sophisticated and accessible. He'd proven that soul music could be elegant and sweeping, not just raw and gritty.
Girl, you're my reality. I've lost it.
White had a gift for making romance sound both classy and sensual, without crossing into anything inappropriate. He sang about love with reverence, like it was the most important thing in the world. In an era when some artists approached romance with cynicism or coolness, White was unafraid to be earnest. That sincerity, combined with his incredible voice, made even the most extravagant declarations feel genuine.
You're the first, you're the last, my everything.
The song became a favorite for romantic occasions almost immediately. Couples slow danced to it at clubs and parties. It was used in films and television whenever a scene called for something unmistakably romantic. White's influence on love songs extended far beyond this single track. He created a template for romantic R&B that artists still follow today. But this song remained the one that best captured his particular magic. That combination of sophistication, passion, and absolute conviction.
I've lost it, you're the first.
Radio embraced it fully, and White became a crossover star who appealed to audiences across racial and generational lines. His music spoke a universal language of romance that needed no translation. The song's endurance over the decades proved that genuine emotion never goes out of style.
Girl, you're my reality. I've lost it.
Number 1. We've Only Just Begun by Carpenters.
We've only just begun to...
Paul Williams and Roger Nichols wrote this song originally for a Crocker Citizens Bank commercial in 1970. It was a short jingle about a young couple starting their life together, designed to sell banking services. The Carpenters heard it playing on television, loved it, and called Williams to ask if there was a full version. Williams sat down and expanded it into a complete song, and the Carpenters recorded it for their second album.
Horizons that are new to us.
Richard Carpenter's arrangement transformed what had been advertising copy into a timeless love song. He understood instinctively what the song needed. The harpsichord opening created an immediate mood of gentle sophistication. Richard had a gift for arrangements that felt fresh and contemporary without chasing trends. He knew how to make a song sound current while building in elements that would help it age well. Karen Carpenter's voice was the magic ingredient. She sang in a lower register than most female vocalists of the era, giving her sound a warmth and intimacy that felt conversational rather than performative. When she sang about new beginnings and promises, she made it feel personal, like she was singing directly to someone she loved. Her phrasing was subtle and natural, never overselling the emotion or pushing too hard.
And when the evening comes with
Karen had developed her vocal approach carefully. She didn't try to belt or show off range. Instead, she focused on clarity and emotional truth. Every word was perfectly articulated, every note placed exactly where it needed to be. That precision could have felt cold, but Karen's warmth prevented that. She made technical excellence sound effortless and emotionally genuine. The arrangement was gentle and sophisticated. Richard used harpsichord, strings, oboe, and subtle percussion to create a soundscape that felt both contemporary and timeless. The song built gradually, adding layers without becoming overwhelming. Each element had its place and purpose. Everything served Karen's vocal, supporting without competing.
we'll find a place where there's room to grow.
The song was released as a single in August 1970 and reached number 2 on the charts by October. It became the Carpenters' signature ballad and their breakthrough hit, establishing them as major artists. The song spent 20 weeks on the charts and introduced millions of listeners to Karen's distinctive voice.
So much of life ahead.
It was played at countless weddings throughout the decade and beyond. Couples chose it for their first dance or processional, wanting something that captured the hope and excitement of starting a life together. The song's message about having endless possibilities ahead resonated perfectly with young couples embarking on marriage. It became so associated with weddings that some couples avoided it simply because it felt too obvious. But many more embraced it precisely because it said exactly what they were feeling.
And yes, we've just begun.
What made it special was its optimism, without naivete. Williams's lyrics acknowledged that the journey ahead would have challenges, referencing roads to climb and hills to climb. But the focus was on facing those challenges together, on the adventure of building a life with someone. The Carpenters delivered it with a warmth and sincerity that made people believe in the possibility of lasting love.
A kiss for luck and we're on our way.
The song's success helped define the Carpenters' career trajectory. They became synonymous with a particular kind of soft, sophisticated pop that valued melody and emotional honesty over flash or rebellion. Some critics dismissed them as too wholesome or safe, but audiences loved them. The song proved there was a massive audience for music that celebrated love without irony or cynicism.
Watching the signs along the way.
Decades later, the song remains a wedding standard, proving that simplicity and sincerity never go out of style. The Carpenters created something that transcended its commercial origins to become a genuine classic of romantic music.
So much of life ahead.
These 10 songs represent some of the finest love songs the 1970s produced. They captured different aspects of love: new romance, lasting devotion, youthful infatuation, and mature commitment. The artists who performed them brought genuine emotion and artistry that turned personal feelings into universal experiences. These weren't just hits. They became part of people's lives, the soundtrack to first dances and anniversaries, to quiet moments and grand celebrations. They proved that love songs could be sophisticated and sincere, romantic without being cliched. If these songs brought back memories or reminded you of someone special, hit that like button and subscribe for more journeys through the music that defined our lives. And tell us in the comments which of these love songs means the most to you.